My name is Phil Guthrie, and I'm the Director of Business Development at Compliance Insight, a leading FDA regulatory and quality assurance consulting firm. And joining me today to discuss preparing for an inspection is Troy Fugate, co-founder and vice president of Compliance Insight. Welcome, Troy.
No, thanks. Glad to be here.
So, Troy, to get started here, can you just share with us a brief background, maybe description on your background and your experience?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before I sit here for the next half hour going through things, it's 30 plus years in pharmaceutical, cell and gene therapy, background quality assurance, FDA, certainly that is part of my background with it, and dealt some with foreign inspections, European, Asian inspections, Canadian inspections, really getting everybody ready and actually conducting or preparing for or dealing with inspections. So in a nutshell, that's sort of it.
Awesome. And Troy, can you delve into kind of some of the differences between the sort of the pre-approval inspection, how that is different from kind of your general inspection?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you think of it, they're both similar, but they're different. I always like that phrase, but it's they're there to make sure you're in a state of control. And so ultimately that's what they look for. But a pre-approval inspection is looking specifically at your application, what you filed, what you said you do, how you can do it. Are all those things in place? The general inspection is just that. They come in, they're looking at your operations in a general sense. How do things operate? And the 6 systems that the FDA put out there, that's very, very much in that line of what they look at. It's just what the focus is on a pre-approval. It's very specific to your application and how you can control that with some smattering of general systems. The other one is general systems completely.
Awesome. So, Troy, maybe can you share with us for just a few minutes the differences between U.S. and foreign inspections? How do those differ? How are they the same? Maybe you can compare and contrast those.
Sure. Yeah. U.S. and foreign inspections, and again, in a general sense, they're very equivalent. I'd say that they look at your state of control. Obviously, foreign inspections will look at different regulations that are there. Obviously, if you're in the U.S. and you're looking at a foreign inspection, it is that typically you're wanting to or you are exporting medicine from the U.S. to a foreign country. So there's always the import controls in place, transportation overseas, the licenses, all of those types of things. And I tell you, it's very unique. I can say from my experience, the FDA is very, very tough. I have met some very, very tough foreign inspection people that come in, and they look at things maybe a little differently. Europe has a lot to do with the TSC type of things, the mad cow disease, certainly years ago. That was a big item. They look a lot at contamination controls, counterfeiting controls, those types of things. But I tell you, I just went through, well, the company, Compliance Insight, just went through an EU inspection at various places across the United States. And it was very similar. It was just how you were looking at the regulations and how they applied. And I tell you, the biggest difference you're going to run into from a foreign inspection coming on is that they're going to call you and say, we need to come in and inspect you. What's a good date? Maybe they'll give you a window. The FDA in the U.S., most times they certainly for a general inspection, most times they'll just show up. And so you don't get that notice, or certainly not much notice. For an inspection, they'll ask dates or times when people will be there, when operations are ongoing, and they may need help in just the mechanics behind getting there, where to stay, cars, where do they go, the food, bringing things in, and you might even have to ask them for translation. Typically, if they come over, they already know English, but it's always safe to ask the question, do you need a translator here? A lot of technical documents, especially, might be very complex to someone that doesn't know the language that well, but most times I've ever seen, they know English fairly well, but it's safe to ask. General sense, that's kind of the differences and similarities between the two.
Preparation is critical when we think about inspections. I mean, it's so important, and always being sort of inspection ready when we think about those general inspections if we're in a manufacturing environment. Maybe just share with us the top 3 things that you do in preparing for an inspection.
Oh, top 3 things. I mean, there's so many things, and you're 100% correct. I tell you, it's a massive process. It's a big item getting ready for an inspection, and anything that's a for cause or a pre-approval inspection, an application inspection, you absolutely are going to be getting ready for those types of things ahead of time. Let me say that. And it's going to take more time to realize that's going to take to get ready for this. But I focus and Compliance Insight has a unique way of thinking of pharmaceutical companies, cell therapy companies, gene therapy companies, any of the medical companies that are regulated by the FDA. And you think of it along the workforce, the workplace, and the work system. So those 3 things, which is funny you ask about the 3 things, those are the things you want to get ready for it. But if you really delved into it, when we are there getting ready, and our process with it is identify the people. Who is going to be doing what? Who's going to be there with the inspectors? Who's going to be in the back room preparing the things, answering the questions? Who are going to be the people QCing the documents? Who are going to be those people that you go to talk about specific things when the FDA asks that question, or regulatory inspection asks those questions? And here's a hint for you. It is a handful of people that are going to be the success or failure of the company of the inspection. You focus on a handful of people that can talk to the quality system, the process, the controls, the warehousing, whatever it is, the testing. All those things are going to be a handful of people. You can't train 90 people to do this. You really focus on those handful of people. Secondly is ID the what. What material is going to be prepared? What is it? What processes in part of this? Where do we take people? What has to be done to show them that you're in a state of control? All those documents, if you think especially on a pre-approval inspection, when you come in, it's the batch records, it's the testing records, it's the receiving records for raw materials, the testing of those things, the stability, the labeling, all those things have to be all pulled together, all the validation, all the training, all of the testing results, all of that has to be put together. It has to be ready to show the inspector when they ask about it, present it to them. And thirdly, I tell you, the biggest item out of this, you identify who, you identify the what, and then you practice. You practice, you practice, you practice. And it is a key item to come in and do mock inspections. Focused inspection in an area, focused inspection on a topic, a focused inspection on arriving. Those are all things that really, really are critical to be successful in this. I can tell you, talk about stories of this. Just trigger a thinking of this is getting ready, training, and do a mock inspection on arriving at the facility. So you arrive at the facility, you come in, who is going to be there to receive them? Do they know what to do? I actually went to a facility. I pulled up, I saw the car sitting there with the government plates on it. I knew exactly who it was. I go in and I ask, okay, where are the inspectors? Oh, well, they said they want to look around. They're out in the warehouse walking around right now. And I had to go back to the hotel to change my pants because it's like, holy, what? So I have actually done that during mock inspections. I know other people in compliance have done that during mock inspections, to go there to the site and say, we're the inspectors, we're here to inspect you, and see what people do. And they say, we want to go to the warehouse. I went to a facility and I got there. They weren't ready for me. I showed up at the time they set for me to show up. And I get there and I'm waiting for about 15 minutes. And I got up and I said, hey, do you mind? I've been waiting here for a little bit. Just to make this go faster, I'm just going to go walk around and look around at some things. And the people outside the room said, oh, yeah, sure. I guess that's okay. And so I walked around the building for half an hour before they caught up with me. So I tell you how critical it is to beginning to end practice, train, coach, mentor people. And what do you do with that? So kind of long-winded answer to you, but I wanted to give you that feedback and our certainly compliance insight, our thoughts on how to make it successful for any company out there getting ready for this.
Excellent. Thanks. Appreciate those top three things. Any final words from you, Troy, about inspection or inspection readiness, preparation for inspections, either general or pre-approval?
Final thoughts. Number one, you said it earlier. Always be ready for the inspection. It's easily observable and detected when it's last minute scurrying to get something ready. It will take you longer than what you think to get ready for it. Keep it simple. A lot of times people make it very complex. There's a lot of complexity behind it, and it just makes it worse. Keep it simple. And really, you're going to have to focus on the inspection, especially if you're getting ready for a pre-approval. You can't have the pre-approval going on and 15 other things going on around it, because those are sucking away the resources that need to focus on this pre-approval. Either you are going to be focused on the pre-approval, or you're going to have a heck of a time getting ready at the last minute and certainly succeeding at it. And it will be a real nightmare scenario for a company if they don't really think that through. So, I mean, I could talk ad nauseum for just thoughts on getting ready for an inspection. I've gone through so many inspections. A lot of our people have gone through so many inspections. We typically step back and we talk about how we get ready, how things are going on. We actually have a playbook ourselves in compliance on getting ready for the inspection. What is it you have to do? There are journals that are out there for coaching and mentoring people. What are those key points you need to have in place for that? Those are things I know, some of which are internal, some of which we actually offer to clients. So I can just say, if you really are truly interested in making this a success and making it, I don't want to say easy, but easier success, and how to get to that point is engage early, get some help. no matter how large or small, get some help and go out there and be ready for this. And it will pay off. At the end, you'll look at it and say, wow, yeah, that really was worth the investment of time, effort, and energy to get this thing done.
Awesome. Well, Troy, thank you so much. And if people have additional questions or want additional information, they can certainly find both Troy and my contact information at our website, which is compliance-insight.com. In addition, we'll put a slide at the end that has Troy and my contact information if you'd like to reach back out to us. Troy, thank you again, and would like to thank everyone for watching or listening. We hope you enjoyed this, and we hope you'll join us for future episodes. Thank you very much.